Welcome back, everybody. This is co-host Rusty Ham of Catching You. I'm with my co-host daughter, Lacie. Lacie, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
You changed locations.
I did. Now I'm outside at my school with people everywhere, but it's okay.
Yeah, you were inside, now you're outside. That's good. You get some fresh air. San Jose actually looks pretty nice. Usually it's probably raining at this time.
It's nice and like 73 today, so
There you go.
perfect.
Perfect.
Now there's bugs outside though.
There you go. So last week we just ended second year 12s. We got third place, left the trophy on home plate. Now it's used as a doorstop, right? Now you get selected, so that from the USA Select Championship, that girl Jamie, I want to Lapris.
Lepre.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's French, probably Lapri. So Jamie Lapri, so she created this camp called the Select 30. So what happens is you get invited to this camp. It's a lot of girls from all across the nation, different girls that you've played against. You know, the Mojo team, the Georgia Impact, Sudden Impact. So there was really some really good girls got selected. And then what happens is after the camp, the top 30, not top, I want to say top 30 because there's some girls that didn't get picked that we felt that should have, but kind of explain who was selected from our team, the 12Us, and then kind of the process or your thought process on the camp and getting selected.
Yeah, so it was me and 3 other of my teammates that got picked to go and attend, and the process is like a little blurry to me on how, because for a pitcher it's different than because I think at this time I'm no longer hitting. Maybe?
Nope.
I don't know. I'm not hitting.
Well,
so I'm just
you hit because I was looking back at the championship game in Kansas City. You actually hit. You batted ninth. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I remember hitting a ground ball to the first baseman.
Yeah.
That's it though. That's all
Okay.
I did. And
Anyway.
then I got a pinch hit. Yeah. But I don't remember. I mean, it's sort of like a normal, if anyone's been to an on deck camp, kind of like that, where they have all the catchers and all the pitchers lined up on the field and they're all kind of pitching at the same time and to get warmed up and just like practice spins. And then I think they narrowed it down to like 2 at a time so they can like more what is it, like just look at you and be more focused on like certain people, and then like clock you and make like see how fast you're throwing or like your spins. And then what else? I think that was it for me. And then there's like the defense and hitting part of it. And then I think it was like a couple days, and then like the night before the Select 30 game, they emailed out the list, and then you show up at a certain time and you get a shirt, some gear. I got a helmet. They gave me a helmet. It was like Easton stuff.
Yeah. We sold it.
Yeah, we did, because I didn't use it. And I think they gave us
Yeah, because we knew you were going to be a PO.
Yeah.
In the future, so we're like, well, she doesn't need a bat and she doesn't need a helmet anymore.
Well, I was actually telling my pitching coach the other day, because I teach hitting lessons as well. There's pitching lessons for like little ones, and usually they're all right-handed, so I demo a swing left-handed. So I've got pretty good at my left-handed swing. Okay.
There you go.
And I told my pitching coach the other day that I regret not that I didn't keep hitting. Or in another lifetime, I'm a power lefty hitter.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, because
But
your last lesson was with Mike,
yeah,
and he wasn't even paying attention to you. I think he was on his phone most of the time, and he's just like,
yeah. Well, he knew I was going to be a pitcher only too.
right,
So
right, right. So, all right. So anyway, I one of my memories is there's a couple of memories. One is you pitched. You were talking about pitching to other catchers, and they're evaluating you. You were pitching to at the time. I think she was ranked maybe 1 or 2 in the nation. The catcher,
the
Aubrey.
Aubrey,
Yeah, Aubrey Bernhardt. And that was a pretty cool moment, right? Because she was on Mojo, and
when they beat us.
when they beat us in second year 10. So now you're 13 years old, not 9 or 10 anymore. So this is 3 years later. You're pitching to the catcher that they beat you in the 10U national championship. So that was pretty cool. I remember you guys you took a picture of the catcher of not Georgia Impact, but of Impact Gold. Remember KK Esparza?
KK, yeah,
So you took a picture with those two, and their uniforms were dirty because they were catchers.
yeah,
Your uniform was bright white. I'll never forget it because they were just
yeah,
catchers are always just they're just grimy all the time, and then pitchers are always so pretty,
yeah. Because there were
clean.
two different. They split the teams in half, so like 15 and 15 once they selected the 30, and
Yeah,
so there's one team that had to wear all white, so white
yeah.
pants, white socks, and then the other team had to wear like black pants, black socks.
I think
And
it's
I was on the
navy
team
blue. Yeah, it was navy
navy
blue.
blue, but like not everyone has navy blue pants, so it's like what
Yeah.
what if they didn't have navy blue pants?
Yeah, so that was
Um,
one of my favorite pictures. Go ahead.
yeah, it was it was crazy, but I still have that problem to this day where my white pants are just precisely clean and there's no dirt whatsoever. Mostly on my like right leg if I have the white dirt off my hand, but that's it. That's
Yeah,
literally it. Yeah.
except for that one game where you fielded a ball down the first base and you tripped and fell. And then there might have been some grass stains on your. Do you remember
It
that play?
wasn't grass, it was dirt. It was We'll talk about that play later because that's in my college days. That's not even at this
Exactly.
age.
Okay. Anyway,
It
so we
happens.
digress. Anyway, um, so yeah, the night before the select 30 comes out, they choose 30, and 3 of the girls that are on your team don't get chosen, right? And
Yeah.
how did you feel about that? Um, um, I obviously we felt that everybody should have been on that team because they were that
Yeah.
good.
I just felt like obviously I felt just really bad because I just wondered why I got chosen and my teammates didn't because I just thought they were like as good or even better than I was. And they weren't. Lex was another pitcher, but then there's like Tati and Hannah who played the outfield positions, and it's like it just made me wonder how they chose the 30. But then we kind of talked about it, and it was in my opinion, I thought because there's 4 of us, imagine having all 4 of the girls on the same team
Yeah,
be chosen for out of 30 girls, and I don't know how many girls went to this camp, maybe over 200, but maybe over
yeah,
100, I don't know.
yeah. There was
But
more fielders than there were pitchers, so they.
yeah,
So yeah. I mean, we don't know
so
why they didn't get chosen. I mean, Hannah's at Oklahoma, and
Hannah's at
Tia's at
Oklahoma, T's at, yeah.
so
So
it's like you know you can't evaluate. It's hard to evaluate a 13-year-old, right? Because they some grow later on in life, and they and Hannah did. And look where she is now. Um, so they split the team up. You play a game. It's just like an all-star game. I think you pitch
an
maybe
inning,
inning, maybe 2, right?
yeah,
So we're done with that. We're in Alabama, which was super fun, right? We get to hang out with the 3 other girls' family, and we hang out in Alabama. We try to sneak into Alabama Stadium, and we go to Auburn. Pretty fun stuff. We get back, and we go camping. We rent an RV. We go down to San Diego, and we're camping, and we get a phone call. Who do we get a phone call from, Lace?
Mark Campbell.
Mark Campbell. And if you guys are listening, you don't know who Mark Campbell is. He's probably one of the, I don't know, 14U. He's had multiple national championships at the 14U level for Batbusters. He multiple girls have come through him to get to Mike Stith, to get to, those Power 5 colleges. So college coaches go to Mark first, and we're going to talk about that in just a second about recruiting. They go to him first to ask about certain girls. And so being on his team is like, okay, this is serious time. This is now we're going to get recruited by these Power 5 teams, right? Or we're going to get looked at, not recruited, right?
And this is all before the rule changed. So their stance really was kind of, I think they were kind of indifferent. Like they obviously wanted us to get recruited and commit and go to those Power 5 schools or any school that affiliated with the Batbusters.
Mm-hmm.
But they also, I could tell there was also like, they're really young. Like, because the recruiting age started getting younger and younger, and they're like, I feel like there was a lot of pressure on them too to get us recruited early because a lot of other girls were recruited early. And yeah, I mean, you got to keep the image of your organization. So, but they also knew, hey, these girls are really young and they're deciding on colleges. So they were kind of in between. And I think they were pushing for the rule to get changed a little bit.
I'm glad they did, because how can you know at 13, right? I think one of the girls that got recruited, right, Reagan Walsh, she got recruited, 8th grader. She committed as an 8th grader, and she's there now. So, that worked out, right? But not all of them worked out, right? So it's crazy that they're committing to a certain college, because you don't know who's going to be the coach. You don't know what major you're going to be. It's got to be the right fit, right? It's just not because of the softball. It's all these other things that come to play when you get to college. So that's crazy that they're. Go ahead.
Right now I'm studying psychology, minor in kinesiology. But I think at like 14, I was wanting to be like a marine biologist or something like that. That was like my first ever one that I ever thought about doing. And
yeah, because you're really into sharks. So I think at the time you were just like, hey, I want to hang out with sharks.
Well, I love the ocean. I love all of that stuff. I found it interesting. I wanted to go to Hawaii, like all this stuff. I had this whole plan, but I just knew I loved sports, and that's kind of when I started thinking about like athletic training or something like that.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know. So how am I supposed to pick the school that has the best options for me?
Yeah. So talk about a little bit. So we get the call from Mark. This is big time now. It's 13. Come on. It's like, at the time we're just like, oh my God, this is so huge. We're going to, Lacey's going to start getting, looked at, which is crazy. But not all of the girls from that 12U team got invited to this. So kind of touch upon that a little bit and what you felt. I'll tell you how we felt, but you can talk about
it was definitely different. I feel like, because now you're bringing some of the top recruits in California all together on one team. And I'm not playing with the girls that I played with since I was 9, who I thought are deemed worthy of being on that team as well. So I was kind of in between. I just kind of had to get used to it. But for younger girls, like when I teach my lessons, they always say like, "Oh, I'm on my friend's team. Like I made this team and all my friends are on it." And then I've had a few where they're like, I had to leave my team, but I had all of my friends on it, so I'm really sad. But I think that's just a part of growing up, especially like just in life in general. You're gonna have friendships dissipate and you're gonna grow apart. But especially in the softball world, you have to get used to friends leaving or you leaving to go to a different team for your own benefit. So, yeah, playing with these new girls, they're really good. Like, I have a really good defense behind me. We're working with the 18s team, with Mike's team. We practice with them all the time. So we're getting just a taste of what it's like to be at that top level, at that 18s team. Um, but yeah, it was just, it wasn't a complete shift, but it was just like it was definitely in a different mindset, because now you say like the colleges are starting to look at you. Um, like you have to, like what they say, like the name on the front of your chest, like you have to represent that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just,
Yeah. So, yeah, you're playing with the 18s. You didn't play with it. Is typically like during high school, we play on the weekends every once in a while. But, yeah, I mean, the 18s, all those girls are Power Five commits, right? And so you're looking up at these girls like, okay, that could be me someday, right? So then the pressure is on that way. Um, you're not the number one pitcher anymore at this time, too, right?
yeah, we
And
have a staff now.
these girls that came on the team, you actually competed against them in 12s. And so now some of these girls that you competed against and they were on rival teams, now you're teammates. You know, now as parents, we were, these were our rivals and we were like, we didn't hate them, but it was just like, hey, you guys are our enemies at this point. Now we're joining forces and we're on the same team now. Though we have to, manage to work together. So for me as a parent, knowing that you guys were on this elite team, you're going to get looked at by colleges. I was super proud, but I was super nervous at the time because, we go to these tournaments in Colorado. If you guys don't know, Colorado is one of the top tournaments where college coaches come and look at you, and that's where a lot of the action happens, right? That's where a lot of the coaches start talking to the travel ball coaches and, hey, who's this and who's this, and so, that's when it starts getting, again, you're 13, right?
Yeah.
So it was nerve wracking, right? I was excited for you, but it was also nerve wracking because, I go as a parent, I'm seeing you pitch every single game, in these nerve wracking games to you're not pitching every game. You're just, it's every once in a while, right? So I have to change my mindset as a parent. Now I'm strictly a parent, right? Because I'm not an assistant coach anymore. They didn't want they didn't want some guy.
They didn't invite you back?
No, they didn't invite me back. So I was disappointed. No, I wasn't disappointed. So now I'm just a parent, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so I have to take a step. I have to take a farther step back as far as who's the team and where I fit. Um, um, so this was this is where kind of the mental aspect kind of comes into play, right?
Yeah.
Again, reading starts to pick up pressure from this elite teams, elite coach. You're practicing with the 18s, Mike Stith. There's captions up there of some of his practices, and you had tough practices with Chris, and we could talk about Chris too. Chris, at the time, in 12, he's like, "Oh, I'm preparing you for Mark Campbell and Mike Stith. That's my job." And then when that time came, he's like, "Well, wait, I kind of want to keep you guys,"
Yeah.
uh, you know, and that would have been awesome, right? If you guys just stayed together all the way through 18s, how much fun, and you would have been competitive. Would you have been national champions at some point? Maybe not, but it would have been cool to kind of keep you guys all together. It didn't happen. It got split up. He wasn't very happy about it, which was weird because he was promoting Mark Campbell and Mike Stith, and then when it happened, he was just like, so it is what it is at the time. What are your thoughts of the practices and how intense they were? I mean, again, your 12U practices were intense because Chris was, he was kind of simulating what Mark and Mike did. And then once you got to
Yeah.
Mark, Mike, kind of talk about that a little bit.
I mean, they were very similar, very very similar. Um, but now we're kind of integrating with Mike's team as well. So we're practicing with the older girls, um, which when you get older and you're practicing with younger ones, there's kind of like a hierarchy there. So I kind of got a taste of who the leaders were. We always had to listen to them. Uh, like if we'd always get blamed if we had to run. I mean, well, of course, because we're a younger team, we're not as experienced. So sometimes there'd be times where we would mess up and everyone had to run, and then obviously we got kind of talked down to a little bit, which I personally I thought it was normal. But right now, like I wouldn't take that because like we're just trying to learn. Like we're younger than you. There's no reason to just talk down on, I mean, possibly your fellow teammates. Like we're part of the same organization. We're not playing each other. Like I would say we would want to like try and help them. There were some girls where they were amazing. Like they would try and help you through certain things and
Yep.
really encourage you to, or like give you advice. Like because they knew things that we didn't yet. Like especially
Yeah.
the new girls coming onto, like some girls are just now becoming bat busters, so they didn't know like the bat buster way. And so there were some girls on that older team that really guided us through, but then there were some what's like, why are you so mean?
Yeah. Well,
But
it was, it's creating that mental toughness. That was
yeah,
part of being on those teams is you got to be mentally tough, right? You're going to go through these hard practices. You're going to have people yelling and screaming at you. You're going to have these older girls holding you accountable, even if it wasn't your fault. Um,
yeah,
so your first year 14s, you have all these elite girls on this team. You're coached by this elite coach. Um, but you're not invited to PGF, right? So
yeah.
you have to qualify. So we go. I think it was Vegas or it was Arizona, but we have to go and we have to qualify. And what happens?
Qualified. I
We
mean,
qualified. Yeah, it was great. Again, it was fun because there's some of the girls that were on the 12s that were on this team, so we had a lot of fun. Still, I think you're starting to get to know certain girls, and um, but again, you're starting to get older now, and there's cliques, right?
yeah,
Right.
there's
It's
clicks, but
different
then
middle
again
school. Yeah, go ahead.
with the qualifying, when I was on Chris's team, it was like a pretty big deal. Like like it was great. We qualified for PGF, but now that I'm on Mark's team, it's a standard. So when we qualified, like that talk after is like, all right, like let's go win PGF. Like it's not great job on qualifying, girls. Like that was amazing, great job. No,
It's business.
it's business, and that was the standard. Like nothing else was acceptable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a really really weird kind of shift because you're kind of used to being like praised a little bit and like really encouraged to move forward. But now there's these, I mean, there's always standards, but now it's like a set standard where um, like home runs, we never went and celebrated at home plate. We were just
Nope.
in the dugout
Yep.
and you kind of just high fived them as they came in, but they just like you see all these home run celebrations at home plate with all the team and you're hugging them, blah blah. We weren't allowed to do that, so
Yeah, I
it
think
was just kind of
the mentality was act like you've done it before, right? So
yes,
this is not a special
yes,
moment. Like this is supposed to happen, right? Because we prepare for this, we do hitting lessons. So this is supposed to happen if they miss their spot, and so we're not going to celebrate that, right? So,
like
yeah. So
pitching wise too is like if you have a few strikeouts or you get a 1 2 3 inning, that's expected of you. So
yeah,
it's not like Lacie, like, oh, like that was great,
it's
great
amazing.
game, that was amazing. No, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to
So
do.
So that kind of starts, like, we talking about mental stuff.
Yeah.
For those of you that are listening that know me, and you probably know this too, of how much of a perfectionist I am,
Uh-huh.
and I need everything to be perfect. So even nowadays, like, I still try like pick out the bad things that I did rather than look at all the good things that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of starts around now that kind of happens, where is like, yeah, you had 3 strikeouts in a row, but you walked the first batter. So that inning was bad, So I'm like, oh shoot, like,
Yeah,
and
great
I
job
complete,
getting 3 strikeouts. Yeah, great job getting 3 strikeouts in a row. But you had a leadoff walk, and we can't have that, right?
right. So it kind of disregards like all the good that you did, and imagine going through your whole like travel career with that being the standard,
Right.
and now as a college athlete, it kind of has to change where you kind of have to find the good first and really
Yeah, focus on
try
some.
and focus on the good things.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, again, mental toughness. That they were breaking you down so you can be mentally tough to get into college, right? So you get into PGF. We actually doing pretty well. We end up playing the Corona Angels, who was real good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is the old. So wait, this is Colorado. We play the Angels.
no, this is PGF. Now we're getting into PGF. Colorado's over. Oh, wait, well, no. We did that. So we play them twice, Lace. We play them twice. We play them in Colorado.
The
We had that.
Colorado game I remember.
Yeah, that was a night game. Super excited. Sarah Willis, who's at Florida,
Central Florida.
Florida. She's pitching. We're actually, I don't think she pitched. I think somebody else pitched. But we were beating them, and then they bring her in. So this
No,
was a
she was pitching.
yeah.
She was
This was an
pitching,
exciting game. Yeah, super
and we
exciting.
scored.
Yeah,
Yeah, we scored like 8 runs in
yeah.
like the
Well,
first inning.
and they scored 9.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, so we end up losing that game because the winner goes on to the championship of Colorado, and that's like a big deal in Colorado. I think you get money. I think if you win, you get money to the organization. So we lose that game. The PGF, we face them again. We're winning again. They tie it. They go up. Or no, now it's tied. We lose. We have to come back the next morning. We play Mercado. We play a first year 14s Mercado. No, you know what? That's second year 14s. That's second year 14s. I'm
I don't know.
second year 14s. Yeah. So first year 14, I'm not sure how we did. I forgot.
Yeah,
I think
me
we went
neither.
2. I think we
Yeah.
won 1-2. We didn't do very well. My apologies if you're listening. We can just laugh it off. Yeah, first year 14s. I think we maybe went 2-2. I'm not sure, but yeah. So pressure's starting, right? And we'll get into second year 14s because
Well, because
that's
now it's like
the
prime
time.
recruiting.
Yeah, and again, you're on this elite team. In fact, we talked about last episode. Mom and I go to Vegas every year, right? So
Yeah.
we're at this hotel pool. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but we're at this hotel pool, and this guy's asking me about you or my family, and I said, "Oh yeah, my daughter plays softball." And he's like, "Oh really? For who?" And I said, "Mark Campbell." And he's like, he perked up. He's like, "Oh really?" And he's like, "Well," I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, I'm the assistant coach at Fresno State
You
softball."
said it was Oregon.
Well, he wasn't assistant at Oregon yet. He was an assistant at Fresno.
Oh,
The next year
yeah,
he went to Oregon.
yeah.
So he's at Fresno State, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And so he's like, "Oh, she'll never be in our in our conference." And I'm like,
Look
"Are you
where I
sure?
am now.
Are you sure about that?"
Well,
um,
yeah,
but anyway,
but
so that's that name. It makes other coaches perk up. Like, okay, so at the time as a dad, I felt like, okay, this is the right team to be on, right? Because I run into this random softball coach, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the team to be on, right?" So, good stuff. We'll get into second year 14s next episode, which kind of starts kind of your mental road.
We might need to make it 2 episodes.
We'll definitely make it 2 episodes. It's definitely a 2 episode, if you want to say that.
So we have recruiting. People are starting to commit on my team.
Yeah.
We're going to camps for colleges, so traveling a bunch.
Yeah, on
and
deck.
then
Yeah.
Yep, and then summer.
Yep. There it is. All right, so let's get going here. Lace, I love you. Have fun at school.
I won't get home until like 5. Hopefully earlier. It's only the first day of this class, so.
Okay. All right, sweetie. Love you. Catch you guys on the other side.
Bye.